Hi, my name is Kevin McKee. I'm a solar ambassador down here in Troy, Illinois, about 24 miles outside of St. Louis. And today I'm going to give you a virtual solar tour of my solar installation here, my solar electric installation on the roof. You can see there in the background. I've got a total of 5.7 kilowatts as it's rated, and there are 24 solar panels altogether, each rated about 240 watts apiece. When we first installed this Array 1 with these first 16 panels in 2011, we were getting about 95% of our energy needs met from solar energy. And then we started adding electric cars and using more power, so we added this second array over here, which has 8 more panels. They're the same size panels. They have similar microinverters. All of these panels have microinverters attached to the undersides where you can't see them, but they convert the power to the type of power we need to run appliances in our home. This is the external circuit breaker box that we installed for the solar array on the roof. You can see there's a conduit coming down from the roof through the porch ceiling soffit and into the circuit breaker box. It has a label on it, or a sign on it, that reads disconnect for isolation from generator. That's required by the power company and by the code, so that firefighters and power line workers know where to come to disconnect the generator, that being the solar panels on the roof. It's connected to a service disconnect box on the side with one of those knife switches, and then the whole thing leads down to my basement for the main circuit breaker box. You can see inside we've got circuits for each of the strings or lines of solar panels on the roof, as well as a main disconnect. Coming along to the other corner, just outside the porch, we've got the digital power meter installed by Ameren. This is the one that both reads the amount of power that I produce and the amount of power that is consumed by my house from the grid when the sun's not shining. I don't know how to read the thing. It's kind of cryptic. Some other digital meters might be easier to read. There's also a sign there that directs linemen and firefighters to that switchable disconnect knife switch. Now we're in the basement and we're looking at the devices that monitor the solar panels and the microinverters on the roof. These devices allow us to monitor production via computer, and they also keep tabs on the production internally with the devices, and there's a little readout on one where you can see the production. One of these devices monitors the new array, the small array that is, of 8 panels, and then the bottom one monitors the larger array of 16 panels. That's a newer monitoring device. These are called envoys by Enphase, by the way, and they're connected to the power line into the circuit breaker box you see there, occupying a couple of the circuit breakers within the box. Next, we're going to take a look at the software and see what these things are telling us today online. This is the Enphase tool for monitoring solar installation energy production. In this case, I've got it set up to show you the arrays on my roof just the way they're laid out, Array 1 and Array 2. And it's showing today's energy production panel by panel. We can also look at that for the past 7 days, panel by panel, and so that's a neat summary of how well the system's performing. Over here on the right, we see summaries of today's energy production for the whole array, the past 7 days energy production, the month-to-date energy production, and even the lifetime energy production. We have these tabs across the top that will let us look at the information in different ways. We can graph the total energy production for the past 7 days for the total array and compare it to what's expected by the program. The day's not over today, so it's a little below the expected level. We can also look at reports and pull down, say, the site energy production for a particular time frame, or how about the multi-year energy report. In this case, we're going to look at the past 5 years worth of power energy production, and so you can see that pulls up very quickly. It's a very handy tool. Most inverters, whether they're microinverters or otherwise, these days have these kind of capabilities for you to remotely understand how your system is performing. Here's a summary of the project details. The overall rating for the two arrays together is 5.7 kilowatts with the 24 240 watt panels and 24 in-phase microinverters along with their two envoys for monitoring production. Our annual solar production is about 7,000 kilowatt hours or $600 worth per year, and that's about 65% of our needs. The rest we're going to get out of community solar as a subscription. Now our overall cost was about $24,000 for this project, and net cost after incentives was about $7,200. But keep in mind that the equipment these days is a lot cheaper. You can get most of this equipment for just a little over half, maybe 60% of the cost of what I spent. And then you've got labor costs along with that. Thanks for joining me for this virtual solar tour today. If you'd like to learn more about this project, check out my websites at the addresses on this slide.